Donald Trump has been kind of a poker player when he threatened Mexico of increasing tariffs. An agreement has finally been reached in which the US agreed to suspend the scheduled tariffs in exchange for Mexican commitments on the migration issue. What led to this crisis? What is in the agreement? And did Trump really bend Mexico to his will as it would appear? Or is it more complicated than this? My name is Patrice Darras. I have been making this video with Simon Huyn, and we will answer all these questions in this video. You are on Foreign Chronicles. This video is only possible thanks to the help of my Patreons. A special thanks to Michelle Spector and Ryan Allen, who really helped me a lot through their support. Here is a part of the content from an interview of Gaspard Estrada by Xavier Martinet in the French podcast about international relations issues, Les Enjeux Internationaux, on the radio France Culture. We will add a couple of other sources to this content, and especially an article of the New York Times.
On May the 31st, Donald Trump threatened Mexico with an escalating series of tariffs from 5% to 25% on all Mexican imports in a response to the migrant surge coming to the US from Central America through Mexico. In a sense, there is some kind of continuity. The USA have been asking Mexico to secure its southern border for more than 10 years. They have kind of been asking Mexico to do the job for the USA, to stop migrants from Central America at Mexico's southern borders rather than at the Mexican-American border. But what's new is that there has been a migrant surge from Central America to the USA through Mexico lately, with 144,000 migrants in May, which is more than 3 times if we compare it to the same period last year. And what's also new is that we have an American president who called himself Tariff Man, and who is under pressure from its own supporters to deliver on these migration issues.
The deal was reached just in time for Mexico to avoid the tariff increase. Mexico agreed to send 6,000 National Guards troops to its southern border with Guatemala. Mexico also agreed to expand the program to allow asylum seekers to remain in Mexico while their legal cases are processed. However, Mexico refused to accept the Safe Third Country Treaty, something Trump had pushed for and which would allow the US to reject asylum seekers if they had not first applied for refuge in Mexico.
Can we say that the tariff threat has worked on Mexico? Well, of course, this was a very serious threat for Mexico, since 80% of its exports go to the US. And Trump can be satisfied that Mexico agreed to these measures. But the two economies are extremely integrated. And so, if the tariffs were implemented, it would have an impact on the American economy and the American consumers as well. It is sort of a double-edged weapon. It could have an impact on Trump's supporters' spending power. Furthermore, it appears, as mentioned in a New York Times article, that Mexico had already agreed, some months before Trump threatened Mexico, to take some of the border actions mentioned on the deal. So, we can say that even though the situation appears to be more favorable to the US, both governments are kind of saving faces here.
It cannot be ruled out that Trump will, in the future, resume his offensive speech towards Mexico. Trump will launch his re-election campaign in a couple of days, and we have to remember that 4 years ago the speech on Mexico and against migrants was a centerpiece of his campaign. Actually, things are already starting to turn sour. Right after the agreement, Donald Trump tweeted that Mexico has agreed to immediately begin buying large quantities of agricultural products from the US, although there was no mention of agricultural trade as part of the agreement. Moreover, Mexico will have difficulties dealing with migration issues with little staff, a weakened economy and government spending cuts. Thank you for watching Foreign Chronicles et à bientôt!